It's so hard not to get caught up into sides of teams, not get caught up into, who your sponsors are and what they believe, and then also not get caught up into like the ability to change your mind when you're being paid not to. And so to go through that, having that, attempted to be taken from you and to like bridge that, I think just fucking rules.
Oh, dude, I get to a point now where I just don't even care. Like I had a sponsor a couple months back and we were going back and forth, and like I sent them an email with my final deliverables and I said, I can't do any more than this. And then they came back with more. Like I said, like, you're wasting my time now. I said 4 times, we've been going back and forth like 8 emails. This is my end point. And then you come back and you disrespect me by wanting more. So I just ghosted them.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even want your money. I don't want it. Like, you're being disrespectful. If I receive a contract where they say they own my likeness globally, I just say, no, you're like, that's ridiculous. Like, I think all these influencers are like gaining these audiences and they have zero competency on how to do a deal, what their value actually is. So they just sell their whole face and name for like pennies on the dollar.
Pennies, bro.
It's ridiculous, man. And so now I'm like, after that thing happened, it's the most biggest blessing ever. Like I remember like one of the brands that called me Whoop, right? And I was the face of Whoop in Australia and literally was the #1 performing UGC ad in the whole country for like 6 months straight. And like there was the people that run Whoop in Australia, 2 women, and they're like 2 women in their boss bitch era, which is great, but not very favorable for the message that I shared that got a lot of traction. They didn't like that. We were close, literally got flown down to Sydney to like do this event with them and all the stuff the week before all the stuff blew out. They didn't even have the courage to email or message me, hey, this is going down, X, Y, and Z. Their head office in Boston sent me an email saying, hey, as per this section, rada, we're cancelling. And like to experience that makes me realize that, like, okay, like, you're actually just a number in this cog of people that they're paying. They have this budget, $1 million a month or whatever it is, and they get to spend it on influencers. And then they dish you 10 grand and then they dish him 20 grand and then they pay that guy some commission, and then they kind of like have this like massive system of all of these faces. And that's how they view you. You're literally just like a face to them. You're not even a person, and you make content for them. And I just went like, I don't know, when I lost all the deals, I just went like, really, this is probably the best thing that can happen. I wish I could pull up the message I sent to my mum, because mum was like, are you telling me that you just lost? Like, I just did some numbers, and I know you don't, it's not all about money for you, but I did some numbers, and I worked out that you're telling me that you just lost $360,000 a year in revenue. And mum works at like a supermarket, makes $40 an hour, whatever.
That's amazing for a supermarket in the United States.
Probably not 40. Okay. That's probably generous.
It's also, I know, like $12 for a Subway foot long, so the PPP is different in Australia.
But like, I also think my mum is like the most amazing person ever, and I'm so glad that she can be so great and caring, and like, she's my biggest fan, and she doesn't need all this. I'm going to give her the world, but she doesn't need all of the money to define her worth like most women do nowadays. A generalization, maybe more so for Australia. But like, the reality is like they're tying their worth to their dollars in their bank account. And I think there's so much more value in a woman, and I feel like the right man can see that, and they're not reliant on like that as a value of her worth. But anyway.
Well, just to respond to that quickly, like, I think that, so I grew up in a super feminist household, and like my dad and his first wife like heavily influenced like women's rights and Title IX and all this stuff. And the way I see the world right now is it's so important that if a woman wants to become a tennis player, or wants to become a president, or wants to become a chancellor, or wants to become a lawyer, or wants to become an athlete, that they should have a path to do that, and they should be supported in that. And also, if a woman wants to become a mom, because it is one of the most important jobs in the fucking world and they're gifted at it, that needs to be supported as well. And we've gone so far that it's like not championed to be that. Like there is, I think, a trad wife, quote unquote, movement bubbling up, and like there's this like return to Christianity. But I'm secular. I don't know if I don't want it to go like hyper conservative again. I want us just to like dial it back a little bit. And we should live in a world where, you know, my sister can be a herpetologist, live in Australia or Thailand alone, or go get her master's. Like, and my wife, who's very talented at tons of things, probably could have been governor of Indiana. She also can be really stoked and not feel like society is looking down on her for being a mom.
Yeah, and I agree with this. I think it needs to be made of passion and desire, though, not survival and need.
100%.
And I think I wonder, and I'm not, I don't like sit in this like trad wife approach, but I do wonder, because for me the way I like to look at things, and I think it gives me a lot of peace, because I feel like I can justify my thoughts better when I live in this way, but I just like to like strip it back deep down to like what I actually want, and zooming out the time horizon enough, not being so short-sighted with my view. And so like expanding out, like if everyone in the world believed in this, what would life look like? Mm-hmm. And maybe what's the end result of acting in this way right now? Mm-hmm. And when you can get to that, and the way you get to that is by asking a series of whys and going, okay, why? And then whatever you answer, why? Okay, why? I'd wonder if the goal was to have more peace, joy, fulfillment in your life, more happiness, call it. I wonder what the path to that actually is. Mm-hmm. And I truly think that when we strip it back to our biology and what we're actually like, what our body supports, I feel like the thing that is most aligned to that could be the thing where we access the most peace and joy and fulfillment potentially. And so I just like this idea of going, do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a woman and you want to make millions, go make millions. Sure, do it. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to be a mum, awesome. Like let's champion that. Mm-hmm. Let's champion it all. But I think there needs to be an assessment, not just for women, for men as well, an assessment of like, does this serve me or does this not? Mm-hmm. Is this lighting me up or is this not? Mm-hmm. Is the outcome of doing this thing actually one that I want? And if we can just constantly assess, then we might be able to course correct and sharpen the sword on the vehicle to actually get to that life. Mm-hmm. Because like, I don't know, I just think it's too short-sighted. And perhaps maybe a woman that wants to make all this money, and this is just a perhaps, I don't have an answer or stats to back this up, but perhaps maybe this making all this money is coming from some lens of maybe your parents have drilled down something growing up because they had a lacking, or maybe you had a man that treated you like shit and you don't feel safe, or maybe like you feel like you don't want to have kids and you don't want to do all of this, but maybe it's short-sighted and you're not actually looking at your life when you're 40 or 50 or 60 years old, when you don't have kids and you can't have kids. Mm-hmm. And so maybe there's this lens of like, do whatever you want, but be self-reflective enough to see where this ends up and mm-hmm. where you actually end out mm-hmm. from acting in this way now. And I think it's too selfish and short-sighted in a lot of ways. Without
a doubt. And I think that I think it's separated via the different generations massively. Like I think they were all fed different forms of propaganda, from the boomers to the Gen X to the millennial to the Z to the alpha, and they're all kind of reacting and understanding, especially around how to handle and experience feminism and how to have purpose within their lives. Specifically, I know Two Bros talking on the podcast about women is like whatever, but just my observations.